Absolute Bane is Batman's most ruthless villain yet. Issue 12 of Absolute Batman's out now, part 4 of the Abomination arc, and this book just keeps upping the ante. Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta have not missed on a single issue, and there are few words to describe what happens in this issue. But let's talk about it. Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is the place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. If you want to hear more about Absolute Batman and DC Comics, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I feel like every month I sit here when I talk about Absolute Batman, I'm like, this is the craziest issue yet. And here I sit again saying, this is the craziest issue yet. Absolute Batman number 12 is shocking in so many different ways. It's exciting to kind of see what's to come. And as someone that really likes Scott Snyder's run on Batman, the New 52, I think he is kind of challenging his own work in terms of one of the great Batman runs of all time, along with what Nick Dragotta is doing in these books. Before I dive too deep into the issue, spoiler alert, please go read Absolute Batman number 12 and then come back here. Issue 12 picks up right after issue 10, which was the big fight between Absolute Batman and Absolute Bane, and then we also had the unveiling of Absolute Killer Croc. Waylon Jones have been transformed, which was Bruce's best friend. But what happened to Waylon is actually not the worst thing that could have happened to you, because we find in this issue, Bane has gotten to the rest of Batman's friends, Harvey, Oswald, and also Edward. And it's not good for them. I'm kind of upset that I was a little bit spoiled. Not a little bit. I was very spoiled. Bleeding Cool had some leaks, and it was all over Twitter. And then it came up, and sometimes I can't help myself. I clicked on it, like, oh my god, I should have saved this till I read it. And I read the issue. This issue is tragic because I think in the beginning of Absolute Batman, if you've been reading it, you know that, hey, this friendship that he has with these characters that we knew were going to become his rogues, like Harvey, like Oswald, like Edward and Waylon, as tight as they were, as long as they've known each other, you knew something was going to break them apart. Bane did not just break Batman, but he broke his friends. And literally, figuratively, and also emotionally in terms of their ties to Bruce. So at the end of the last issue, we find that it was kind of like a little bit of a origin issue flashback of Bane, and then we found at the end he had sought out Bruce's friends, presumably to break him even further than he did when he was in Arkham. And he literally breaks them. Oswald, he beats into a bloody pulp where they have to kind of put him together. He beats him so bad that he is shorter than he was before. So hey, that's the Penguin. Harvey he cracks in half and then burns one of his halves. So there you have Two-Face. And then Edward, he blinds him with his fingers and then cracks his skull. So now we have the Riddler. And now we know how all of his friends have turned into villains. And it's sad, I was hoping that it would be something different and we'll probably get deeper stories for each character and arcs, but it's just crazy how brutal and sad this book can get. It's awesome, obviously it's epic and all these things, but it really was like sad and I like reading it. Obviously I saw the leaks, but actually reading the issue, it was sad to see the state that they were in and what that meant for Bruce's relationships, not just his relationship with his friends, but his relationship with being Batman. He's embarked on this, and Alfred has told him, "Hey, you're really in it now. There's no going back." When Black Mask gave you that offer in that first arc, that was your only way out. Now you're in it, and there's no sort of going around it. You have to go through it, and he's had to pay the ultimate price. His friends are all broken physically, emotionally. He has nothing, like, as he's getting out of Arkham, like he's Waylon's in the wind. Waylon was literally begging him to end it to stop his suffering. And Bruce is recovering from his injuries and taking in all the venom that they had put in his system. And Alfred is, ready to go to war with him. But as much as this is kind of building to a big fight and stuff, it's just it's rough, like, and I think what is special about this Absolute book and the Absolute universe in general is that it can really do things like this. It can be brutal. It can go places with certain characters that the mainline universe can't really do because of thinking of continuity, events, how this ties into this or that. It's like, yes, this is setting things up for the future, which is great for ongoing comics, but when I saw Bane at the end of the last issue, run into Bruce's friends, I'm like, oh, like he's gonna trap them, and then he's gonna use them as bait to bring out Bruce, and then everything is gonna be fine. No, absolutely not. It is, he literally destroyed all of his friends in the worst possible ways, and I feel for Bruce. I also feel for his friends, where Bruce brought them into this selfishly, and it's tragic. You also get a hint at the Red Hood gang, and then at the end of the issue, you get a peek at Catwoman, her first full appearance. We've seen Selena throughout the series, but this is actually like Catwoman in the suit. But yeah, Bane, he has to go, man. Like, I cannot wait for Bruce to get his hands on him, like what he has done to his friends. And it's just, yeah, it's just, again, it's hard to kind of put into words how this issue makes me feel. I'm angry, I'm sad. I personally want my revenge, but also I feel for the fact that, hey, Bruce being Batman, like, I genuinely feel like he should be questioning this. And I think what Scott and Dragotta have done, especially early on in this, is like, yes, like Batman's big and strong and all these things, but because of that, the challenges he faced, the world he's in, has to rise up to that. It's an even more evil world than what we know in terms of Gotham and the Absolute Universe than the mainline universe. And that means that the villains are absolutely insane. Like, if this is Bane and we've gotten peaks of the Joker, how ruthless and evil is the Joker? I don't want to know. I truly don't want to know. If this is Bane, I don't want to know what the other villains are gonna look like. We've seen peaks at what the Riddler and Two Face and Penguin are, but just, this is one of those issues I think you really have to read for yourself. And sadly, I think things are going to go on the internet because of, obviously I'm talking about it and I'm going to talk about it more. But really read this issue. I think what Scott is doing is challenging what he did with the Court of Owls. And this will definitely go down in history as one of the great Batman runs. And the fact that he's able to do it again really puts him up there with writers like Frank Miller in terms of their work on Batman, where they were able to do multiple works of art like The Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One. I feel like Scott has put himself in that hat of greatest Batman writers of all time. Dragotta, the way he's been drawing this Abomination arc, awesome. It has all these different influences, and again, when you're looking at the scenes where Bane is tearing apart Bruce's friends, there's a brutality, there is a sadness that I think no artist can really kind of capture the way that Nick Dragotta did. Yeah, damn, damn. Absolute Bane needs to be dealt with. What do you guys think? Do you like Absolute Batman number 12? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.